Hi everyone, how you doing? Final day of the USA Championships to pick their team for the Tokyo World Championships. Exciting stuff on the track today, loads of finals. But before that, they'll start in a couple of minutes the opening round for the men's 200 meters that will feature uh, three heats. The top two qualify, and the next three best times get into that final. So very competitive. They're going straight to finals here after this. But we'll see a number, and then following that, we'll have women. But a number of finals on deck today: women's pole vault, the discus throw, men's triple jump. A lot of exciting stuff. High jump. The night ends with the 110-meter hurdles. We'll get semifinals for that in just a bit. But it's really good to have you guys back on the channel. Hopefully, you guys are all doing well, having a great Sunday. And yeah, looking forward to that. Lots of interesting stuff happening on the landscape of track and field. I don't know how many of you saw the British Championship earlier today, but we can recap some of that. Really good performance there from Zarnell Hughes, going sub 20. Conditions not the greatest for sprinting, but a helpful win there for him too. But going 1919 in a 1.3, he can't be mad about that. I think the execution from Zarna was good around the curve, arguably one of the best I've seen in a long time from him. And I suspect his coach would be happy with that. It's always difficult to judge, especially when you look at the level of performances, uh, and we'll see what happens in terms of, you look at Zarnell, he's dominating the rest, but who knows what happens because the rest weren't that good. But you could zone in and look on his performance, and we'll be happy with it. Let me get some comments here going, and then we can get into some stuff. I'll put up in the meantime as well as the starting lineup for the opening rounds for the men's 200 meters. Margaret, how you doing? She's saying hi, you guys. Thumbs up to the video. Appreciate that. I appreciate that. Sherwood says Dina left Juju's. Did that just happen? And I missed it. So Dina left Coach Flo. Dina had to run really hard today to actually hold off Amy Hunt. Hunt is in fabulous form. I think Hunt, if she had probably more experience in terms of dipping, she would have probably caught Dina. We can get into that if we want. Anika, how you doing? Good afternoon to all. Anika is saying, happy Sunday to you. Rally around the West Indies. Yeah, I was very frustrated last night. I started to watch and I was like, I should have listened to you and come do a watch along for it. And the way in which West Indies easily dismantled Pakistan, Jason Hole in particular, I was like, this should be relatively straightforward. And I was like, what's going on there? And then in the middle of it, it was a dogfight. And at one point, I was like, there's no way they're going to make it. And then they're going to make the runs. And then it came down to Jason Holder at the end there. So what does that do? Break a 21 game streak? Is it 21 games in terms of T20 international losses for the West Indies? So who knows? We'll see. Sherwood says Dina announced she's now based in. Interesting. Because I didn't watch her interview post race. I just moved away from that. And Ferdinand, how you doing? Greetings, Jamaica followed UK, Dutch, and Germany today. And Anika's like bread. Uh, yeah, 9-game losing streak. Sorry, I don't know what I was saying there. Yeah, right. Blood pressure pillows on standby. I get it. Yeah, for sure. Ferdinand, first four of UK 200 should really be team for Britain. Yeah, I would agree in the 4x1. We can talk about that in a second because I definitely think that Great Britain should not be slept on in terms of actually going into the championships as possibly the favorites for the 4x1 ahead of the United States. And when you look at the execution they delivered at the London Diamond League, I can't underscore how good they look. If they get the stuff stick around, if they do it the right way, we're looking at some interesting stuff. I gotta do some follow up on that Asher Smith stuff there, Sherwood, uh, because that's interesting. Interesting. So the first heat is about to go on track. As usual, you have to watch some of this stuff on the USA Track and Field TV. At 4 o'clock, it will switch over to NBC slash Peacock for their coverage, and we can only hope that it works out. So the first heat has McLean, Courtney Lindsay, who did a fabulous time there to get in. Tamar's McCollum, Butler, Miller from Purdue didn't start, and Lang and Ellis. So I'll take a look at this and I'll get back to the comments in a second. I anticipate Lindsay should comfortably go through here, but as usual here, top two go through, next three best times. So you have to run relatively hard here. Lindsay's executing a good turn here, comes off ahead of McCallum, and he's motoring away. McCallum now gets into his running, trying to keep up with Courtney Lindsay, but Lindsay's going to qualify comfortably. McCallum right behind him. 20.07 is the flash time. Official time coming through now, 20.08, and McCallum 20.37. I'll get that on the screen right now. That's the first of three opening rounds. Courtney Lindsay just looked like a warm-up run there. He got out, then he popped up a slight bit there, but by the time he was around the bend, he came off, I would say, a meter there or half a meter. Then he's just like checking left and right, which you never like to see, but he's in a confident mood and comfortably qualifying there for the final later on this evening. So we'll get to the rest of that in a second. I'll pick up back on the comments here. Ferdinand says, I agree. I agree. I tell all to watch out for Great Britain. Yeah, you have to like what they're doing. Usually they have good execution. They'll do a couple more camps, I imagine, just before you get to the World Championships. But I think it's hard to see three teams beating them, so you anticipate that they should be on the podium. You hope that Jamaica can get their act together in terms of the execution. Athletes are in good condition, and then they should be competitive. And the United States, I think they will be competitive too. A lot might think they may go in as favorites. Usually, I mean, they're going with Jefferson Wooden. I imagine they'll get that to get together, but we'll see. Fernand says Tamars and Lindsay. So Lindsay ahead of Tamars. Noah lies on the track right now. The dog, big up. When are the 200 heats? It's actually in progress right now. That was the results for the first heat. Top two going through automatically. Next three waiting on time. Lindsay comfortably winning there in 20.08. He looks in ominous shape, I think. And McCollum there had to do a little bit of work on the stretch, but comfortable also. Ellis and Butler, they'll have to wait. I'm not quite sure if those times will be good enough, but we'll see. Second heat coming up right now, and that will include Harding, Taylor, Morrow, Lyles, rather, Hickling, King, Coleman. So let's see what Noah Lyles decides to do. If he's serious enough to run both legs, I think he should, because he needs to get running in his legs. And final one will feature Aaron Knighton. I guess he showed up. Kenny Bederack. So we'll see. Objectivity, what's going on? Greetings to you. Yeah, greetings to you. And for those of you, I'm doing a live show on Thursday night, a joint live show. I'm bringing in Leighton Levy, so he'll be on it. You can check it out on the channel already. In terms of the link is up, So don't forget to hit the notification for that. If you want some questions answered earlier, or I can prepare to for having a good dialogue, just put those on the channel. There's a section in the community post section where you can add some stuff there. And yeah, so looking forward to that too. Yeah, the 200 meters are in progress right now. Second heat about to go right now. Sure, it says indeed the British relay team knows each other and trusts one another. Their passes are generally immaculate, and most of the legs are fast. I would not be shocked if they won. I agree too. I agree too. I think we've seen it in the past. They're pretty good, and we'll just have to wait and see how they execute. They look good in London in that kind of, less than ideal conditions to run. I think they ran a world leading time at the London Diamond League. So it will take a lot to beat them. How about Amy Hunt? I just can't believe Amy Hunt is moving like that, and she's a tall athlete. Interesting stuff. I don't know where her ceiling is, but almost nipped Asher Smith at the end there. Sonia, how you doing? Good to see you. Always good to have you on. Ferdinand is agreeing with Sherwood here, and Onika says no next. Yeah, so they're on the track right now. It's gonna be Kristen Coleman out there in lane 9, Kyrie King, Brandon Hickling, Lyles, Morrow, Taylor, Harding. Let's see what kind of shape Noah is in. We saw him in Monaco where he surprisingly for me beat Let's See Tebogo in his first race of the season. But Tebogo has also been interesting there in terms of his up and down season with a bit of injury, but we'll see. Kristen Coleman here, probably trying to see what he can do to get on this team. It's going to be a hard slog, I guess, missing out on the individual team by 100. Well, not more than that. Yeah. So King got a good start. Lyles didn't run a good curve as you'd imagine, but now he comes off ahead of everybody now, and he's motoring away, looking relaxed, and he's pushing fairly hard. Flash time 1997, 1.7 win. That is the official time. It seems like too. I don't know how much more Noah has in the tank. There's a shot of his mom there on screen, but he ran that fairly hard. I don't think the first 100 was the best. The curve wasn't the best at all. Certainly not nowhere close to his standards. But Noah is. Let's see it again. I'm seeing it on a slow. The curve wasn't as good as he normally would run it. The last part of it was decent. Yeah. He comes off maybe with less than a half a meter lead, and he's just moving there. I don't think he's easing up at all. He ran right through the line. 1997, sub 20 clocking. Conditions in Oregon, I believe, are like about 65 to 68 degrees there, maybe feeling a little bit warmer, but it's overcast conditions. I'm not quite sure how much impact that is. Kristen Coleman, they're coming in second in 2020. So those two will automatically qualify. King now is, I think, on the bubble here with 2025. Yeah. So the final heat coming up, featuring Dudley means Blaskowski, if I pronounce that correctly, Thomas, Bednarak, Knighton, Gregory, and Hogan's. That's coming. Let me get to some comments here. Aniko saying, "Oh my God," to a number of things there. Average Joe, what's the UK team? Hughes, Hincliffe, who else? Azu. I mean, there's a bunch of guys there that they'll probably think through too. I'll some names are slipping me. Give me a second, I'll think through it. Well, yeah, I think Azu will be there for sure. I don't know if they'll let him start the relay. That's going to be an interesting thing for him. But I think what's that guy again? Dad's the too. I think he's always in the relay pool. So there's a bunch of other guys that can push through too. So they should have a really good team as well. Ferdinand says Lyles, King, Hickling to move on, and maybe Coleman. Anika says he ran hard, looks exasperated. He did look a little like he had to run out there, but we'll see. He has to come back in a couple hours here and try it again. I'm not anticipating Noah winning this evening, but I don't think that might be the goal for him. I mean, in his head, he doesn't want to lose the 200 meters. It's his baby, but I'm not. It's very hard for me to see anybody beating Kung Fu Kenny at this championship. So we'll see. Dina, how you doing? Hey, just arriving. Who won the first heat of the men's 200 meters? I will put that up on screen for you. The first heat was won by Courtney Lindsay in what has to be considered an extremely comfortable time. So it was Courtney, Lindsay, and McCollum in second, 20.08, 20.37. Lyles, 1997 in the second, Coleman, 2020. So King right now and Hickling are settling on the bubble, along with Harding to see if they can make it into the final that's coming up later on. Ferdinand says Kenny will take his heat. Virginia, if he runs Kenny tonight, he will lose. She's also following up with he's gonna withdraw. And Anika Knighton is on the track. Yeah, I saw it. I wasn't quite sure if he was gonna show up, to be honest with you. As many people know, he hasn't really been doing much this season. He's also been fighting his case that's been appealed by World Anti-Doping. So that's also interesting. That could be weighing on him too. Average Joe, my 200 team right now would be Kenny, Knight, and Lindsay. I don't see Noah making top three. Well, the good thing for Noah is he's already qualified for the World Championships with the bye, so he's just running for running's sake. I think Lindsay and Kenny for sure tonight. I have no idea about Aaron because I haven't seen him anyway. Yeah. Dina says thank you. You're welcome. So they're getting into the blocks right now. Yeah. Eric, they gave Noah the easy semi. I don't. That's not. They didn't. It just worked out like that. That's a clean start right now. Kung Fu Kenny not running a particularly great turn. Arian there too is not making up the stagger. Is now making up the stagger on Aaron Knight, and he's going to come off slightly ahead of everyone else. And he's motoring. And Knighton is not going to finish second. He's going to finish third because I think that's Gregory who went ahead of Knighton there. But Kung Fu Kenny winning this in 1999. I got that on the screen right now. So it's 1999 for Kung Fu Kenny. Gregory 20.03. Aaron Knighton finishing in 20.14. So that will get him into the final because that's the fastest of the non-automatic qualifiers. He's looking around. I don't think Knighton has a lot in his legs right now. Yeah, Kung Fu was just running within himself there. He didn't come off the curve. I always think he should run the curve really hard, come off, and then just shut it down. But he had to do a little bit more work just to be in the mix right there. But but in the end, easy for him, I would say. So we're looking at the qualifiers, the teams that not the teams rather, the finalists are gonna be Lyles, Benaric, Gregory, Lindsay, Knighton, Coleman, Kyrie King, and Max Thomas gets in. Hickling and all right. Onika says Knighton needs races. He certainly does. He hasn't. I'm trying to remember how many. I don't know if I've seen him a lot this season. Off the top of my head, I don't know, and I don't have time to search because I'm running solo. But did Knighton run earlier this season? I'm trying to remember. Eric says, I think Lyles is going to pull out of the final. I think he shouldn't. Losing, if you're going to lose, you want to lose here. Yeah. Thanks, Rachel. I'm trying to remember where you ran it because I wasn't, there's so many things. I'll look it up in a second. Or if you remember, tell me. Virginia said, I think he ran one time. Yeah. Back to that comment there, Eric. He should run the final. Number one is because he won't get a chance to go back to back this quickly, before you get to the world championship. So it's just like another testing of his body. He clearly is race rusty, even though this is what third race, right? Since injury, he ran in Monaco in the 200. He ran at 100 meters in London. Then he ran 100 meters here. Then this, yeah, it's not like he has anything to conserve. He should just run. And Rachel says, Elias said he was running all heats. Yeah, average. Joe says, Elias already said he will run two races, so he's running the final. Ah, okay. And the anti-doping stuff came back. I get, yeah, right, right, right. Thanks. Ferdinand says, I also don't see Nauer in the finals. Well, if he's not going to be in the finals, he should be clear early, so that way they can put the they could replace him with someone else. And Rachel says he's supposed to run some more races after today. No, yeah, I think he's going to go on a circuit. What I meant was in the context of, you get this kind of a setting where you can feel feel the championship legs again, as opposed to like a one-off race. So this is good for him to kind of get back into the kind of shape he probably needs to be if he's going to be competitive in Tokyo. 200 meters in Tokyo is an interesting space right now. I, I guess once we see the final, I have a better sense of where Kung Fu Kenny is because he had some injuries earlier, but I suspect he's back in good shape. Boga is the real outlier here. He started the season well, and he had some hiccups. Then he didn't complete the Diamond League in Morocco, right? And then he came back, and he looked sorta okay, and then he doesn't look so okay again in the 100 meters. So not quite sure where his body is in terms of being capable of getting up to the standards needed to dominate, but it's a matter of time, I will see. Eric says he can't afford to lose. I heard Adidas want to see better. Explain that. What do you mean Adidas wants to see better? Like he won the Olympic title last year. I mean, maybe they're upset he didn't do the 200 meters, but that's a different story. And but the year before he overachieved if you want to think about it, right? How many people would have predicted that he's gonna just take the 100-meter flat like that, right? So that's interesting. Eric says, "I believe nothing." I says, "All right, all of them injured recently." Average Joe says Tamar got 10 fastest time, but in the final, yeah, because he qualified automatically. Yeah, it was the top two, right? Yeah, so it doesn't matter. Yeah. Let me get back to some more comments. The women should be coming up soon. I'll give you some updates right now. I think the discuss is going on, but I was looking at comments and I'm watching football right now too. Anika says the 200 will test Kenny's fitness. Yeah, I agree. Shakara Richards on the screen right now. And I think Virginia meant he got injured too. Christian, oh, Christina, sorry, my bad. Sometimes I'm not seeing what EG3 is that I9. Lyles doesn't want to lose the 200 US title, so he will run if he think he can win. Yeah. Okay, I get it. Kimani says, "What's up, Kimani? 1979 Tiboga is clearly in good shape." Shamar, how you doing? Hi, good afternoon. What's up? Happy Sunday to you. I'm doing well. Good to see you. Good to have you on. Eric says Shakari is out, as in out on the track. She's out there. All right. So let me just give you a quick starting lineup there. I'll scroll it quickly since it's going to start, but this is the starting lineup for women's 200 meters. Shakari is in lane 7. Mackenzie Long, I have a lot of high hopes for her. And heat number 2, there's Ford, Brittany Brown, Mays. This is a very top. This is a very difficult heat there. Prandini, she's always in the mix. Tamara Clark, TT Terry, and heat number 3 has Jefferson Wooden, Kayla White, Gabby Thomas, Battle, who has been running really well on the circuit early this season. It's gonna be tough. Only the top 2 will get in, and the next 3 fastest. So I expect some really quick times here. If you either have to make sure you're in the top 2, otherwise it's anybody's guess if he thinks he can. I guess Eric is laughing here. Yeah. Virginia is like, damn. No, it's this is tough. I think Tasaga right now is leading the women's. No, actually, that's not true. Valman has a 67.25 and Tasaga 63.75. I apologize. Let me get. I want to check some update on these field events. Women's pole vault in progress right now. Really early rounds is opening up around at 4 meters 38 there. It should be good because we have the Mall sisters. I want to see what if they can, if Amanda can make the team for sure. Sandy Morris still around. Katie Moon, she hasn't even decided to jump yet, or she hasn't come up yet. So that should be competitive. Women's discus, as I mentioned, 67. This is just, let me put it on screen quickly. That's the early standing there in the women's discus. And yeah, that men's triple jump is also going to come up in another minute or so. That's also dropped off, interestingly. Let me get back to some comments here. Ferdinand says, go long, uh, Madison and Alexis Brown, Heat 1. Yeah, interesting. Yeah. I didn't even, yeah, they could also feature for sure. The dog says, call me crazy, but I think Kenny takes the win after seeing him not try and get point 0.02 seconds. I think less than no. Yeah, I think Kenny's gonna win tonight, unless Courtney Lindsay has some real stuff up his legs. It's either for I would go Kenny, maybe Lindsay next. I'm not quite sure what shape Noah is in, if we're being honest. mean, he did beat Tobago the other day, but he's certainly not at his best. So I'll have to wait to see. Paulette, how you doing? Paulette Paul in the house. Blessings. Just got home from church. Hopefully it was lovely. And Ferdinand says, I love the Mall sisters. No, they're cool. They're really interesting athletes. 491 for Amanda, right? Amanda's a 491 this season, right? So interesting space there for US pole vault in good hands, I would say. You got to give it up to objectivity. He's the certified joker on the channel there. All right, so the first heat about to get started. Shakara Richards there in some Gail Diva style nails. Not sure why I just commented on that, but it was just right in my face. Oh, Josh Kerr looked good today at the British Championship as well. I'm just trying to think through some of the stuff I saw there. I see Brian coming through. I'll get to your comments in a second after this race, Brian. The dog is saying, who y'all backing in the women's, Melissa or Gabby? Interesting one there. That's a question there. It's a big question. I can get it on screen. Gabby doesn't like to lose 200 meters, but Melissa Jefferson's been in pristine form. Interesting one. I generally don't know the answer to that. Perhaps MJW could do it. I think she's on a mission to make a statement. Brian says, "Hey guys, heard Dean Asher has left Flow Camp and gone back to England." Yeah, that's what Sherwood pointed that out on the live today. I missed that, to be honest. And Average Joe says, Melissa winning this all day. She's unstoppable. Quite possible. And Juan Daniel Guzman Hernandez, I don't know if Sydney can beat Paulino in the 400 flat. At this stage, I'm still having Paulino. I haven't seen anything to change my mind yet. I think Sydney's more than capable of going to very low 48s. Is that in the season? Is it in at the World Championships? I guess we'll find out. If Sydney won it, would I be shocked? No. But currently, I would still go with Paulino, perhaps NASA, Sydney in the mix, somewhere there. The rest hasn't been pulling up trees. We'll see what we get from others. The rest are just like in the low 40s, 49s. The rest is on track now. So a good start there. Shakari trying to run, but Mackenzie Long, I think, is running a good curve, but we'll see once she gets around. I think that's Stevens too, or is that Jackson? So Mackenzie Long is going to win this. Shakari is trying to pump, but she doesn't have anything. She's going to finish quite possibly in third or fourth. So it's Mackenzie Long with a comfortable win there ahead of Deja Stevens and Madison White with the third place over Shakari. I didn't see that. Maybe she was coming through. I'll have to see that again. Look at that again. And so Shakari running 22:56. I'll be shocked if that gets into the final. Mackenzie Long there, comfortable. Top two go through automatically. 22:12, 22:37. Wind 0.1. Very negligible. Yeah, Shakar is just like going through the motion. There's no real speed there coming off the curve. And she's never really a great curve runner anyway. Mackenzie Long there, motoring somewhat, but comfortable. Deja Stevens running well. I didn't think, oh, yeah, Stevens, White actually dipped at the end there. In a way, Shakar is looking like she's running back, almost like the hips aren't aligned properly. I don't know that to be the case. I'm just saying that. Let me get back to some comments. Where did I miss? Papine, what's up? Blessings to you. Objectivity. I think she's just shot Gabby in Philly. So you're saying Gabby might win. The dog, what did you think of Zarnell running the 1990? I liked it uh, from an execution standpoint. So a couple of things. It was a helping win there, 1.3. So you'll be happy with that. 1990 is the 1990 British Championship record, right? And at least there, am I right on the time, right? Am I right? Yeah. And the thing that I was pleased with the most when I was watching the race today was his curve running. It looked really good. Came off, a nice execution. It looked smooth. I think Glenn Mills will be liking that. It was not warm. I think it was a little bit wet at the time. So you have to like it. When you put it into context, yesterday he won comfortably, but it wasn't a good Zarnel race. There was a hiccup at the start in 100 meters yesterday. Fortunately, no one got disqualified, but he got left in the blocks and he did a little bit of work, but he got in there. So from an execution standpoint, on the 100 meters, it wasn't good, but he got the job done. And you know Zarnel's history with false starting. The 200, much better. The question is, how fast can he go? You have to put him in the mix in terms of ability to get a medal, assuming Toboga is not in tip-top shape, assuming Lyles doesn't get back to his best. He should be around there. We'll see what Jerome Richards do. It's a kind of interesting question around the 200. You know, can Brian Level find a way to step up into this space and do something special too? So there's a lot of questions to be answered. It's not in previous years, you just say the top three, top four probably locked, but no, I'm not quite sure we can say that now, given some of the injuries that we've seen from some of the athletes that are expected to win. I will get back to you some comments. Papina can't put that on the screen, man. Average Joe says, "Whoa, Shakari has been arrested and now she will only compete in 100. Has she fallen off?" I don't know about falling out. She's been injured all season. So when an athlete is injured all season, there's not much you can really. You can't say anything yet, right? It's just got to give it time. She still has time. I have no idea where she'll get to by the time we get to the World Championships. Rory says Shikari kind of gave up at the end. No lean at all. Yeah, maybe she gave up. Maybe she just ran out of steam. To It's interesting ways to think about it. I think she was battling. It's not a favorite event either, if we're being honest. Objectively, Shakari might have just ran the 200 to get races in her legs. That's also a possible thing. Mapine says level will give us a 19.7. I'm sure of that. That would be good. That could put him in the mix maybe for a medal. Eric says I want Kenny to win. You'd have to think Kenny is in good shape. We'll see. He's, he's not at his best yet. He's also trying to get back here. Jamisha 40 on screen. This is going to be good. I'll get back to the comments in a second, guys, while I watch this race. So you got Mays, Chandler, Brown, Ford, Prandini, Sturgis, Clark, T.T. Terry, and Sutton did not start. Top two automatically go through. Next three best times You can never count out Prandini. She gets on an Oregon track, and it's like she owns it. But I expect Brittany Brown to do some damage here. You hope. All right, so a good start there. Let's see. Prandini actually trying to make up the stagger there on Ford, passing Ford, I think. Brown also running, but not the greatest at curve for Brown. Almost like a Veronica Campbell come off there, but even though VCB was a great curve runner. Brown is going to comfortably win this. Prandini going backwards, and I think that's Jamisa Ford going to collect the second place for the automatic spot. So time 22:32, 22:61, Sturgis 22:66, Prandini 22:68. Win 1.7, so not a particularly fast time there. So Brown winning in the end. I'm looking at it again. Prandini ran a half decent curve there, making up the stagger there, but Ford had to come back into it. Brittany Brown there comes off the curve in the end ahead. Prandini is struggling there to keep up. Ford fighting, and Sturgis there in the end going ahead of Jenna Prandini. So just to think about the bubble times right now, it's Madison White has a 22:55. Shakari has a 22:56, so she's still in the mix. Then it's Sturgis. So Shakari is still in the mix right now. All of this will come down to the last heat, which will feature Battle, Thomas, Kayla White, Jefferson Wooden. I can't imagine. I think the third place finishers are going to come from this heat because it's going to be hot, 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 hot. And then they also have the added benefit of seeing the race before them. All right, let me get back to a bunch of comments that I missed here. 44-71 at the Dutch Championships. Jonas for first. Thanks, Ferdinand, because I haven't been zoning in on that. Anika says Shakira has been injured and hasn't had much races, but her form doesn't look relaxed or fluid. I do wish the best for the young lady. Yeah, she doesn't look. I think like it looks like our hips are just locked or something. It could be that. I have no idea. But all season she's been struggling with some stuff. Oh, how many races? Not a lot. She was in Japan. Then we didn't see her for months. Prefontaine, trying to get back into it. We'll see. Katie Moon here about to go down the runway. Papin Boss, yes, man, coach. She fell off. Jefferson's now. Jefferson's the new hit girl. It's with track and field it goes, you know. People always come for your spot. When you get up on top, the hardest thing is to stay up there. Kenny PB in the 100 think he does the same in the 200. I don't know. I don't think he has to run a PB. I don't think he needs 19.5 here. I think he just needs to win. He should win. I suspect if Lindsay presses, I don't know how quick Lindsay can go, but we'll see. Katie Moon there knocking off the bar at 4:38, 4 meters 38. Objectively, that's how Shakari mostly runs 200. Shakari's form has always been poor. She just has God-given talent. And the dog thoughts on Amy Hunt running 22.2. I think she was marvelous today. A bit more race now, and she a bit more race now, and she. I don't know why my phone is starting to play music. A bit more race now, and she would have beaten Dean Asher-Smith. I think the dip was the problem there. Had she I think she dipped a little bit too early. I watched it a couple of times, but I'd have to watch it again to 100% believe what I'm saying. But she may have dipped slightly too early. Papin says Prandini fell off bad. I mean, she's also getting up there too, right? She's been around for a while, so it's one of those things. All right, thanks everybody for coming through. Appreciate you guys coming through on the channel. Don't forget to subscribe, hit the notification bell. Got a good live coming up on Thursday with Leighton Levy, so make sure you're here for that. It's already scheduled, and if you have any specific questions you want me to ask him before it comes on or while I'm doing it, post those in the community section of the channel. Eric says Shakari seems to be out. She's not out yet. She's in the mix right now, but I think she's going to be out right now because it's hard for me not to see the fastest times coming here. You have White, Thomas, Battle, Jefferson Wooden. Battle was running really well early on the Diamond League Series. You know, yeah, I think the three places are going to come from here. Average Joe says last heat is the strongest by far. There will be all the time qualifiers from here for sure. I agree. Eric says Shikari is done. Papin says Canada gone sub 22. Who did that? I haven't looked. I haven't been keeping up with the Canadian stuff too. Today is what Sunday. Let me see what's going on in Canada. This thing is not. Their the results are moving shaky in Canada right now. I'll check on that later, and I'll get back. The dog. Yep, you're right. She dipped too early. Rory says Amy lost her composure at the end there. Yeah, but she's 100-meter champion. Would she have beaten Daryl Nita if Nita didn't false start? I'm not quite sure, but we'll see. All right, they're about to get off here. It's a good start there. Melissa Jefferson Winner already working ahead of Battle. Thomas is not running a good curve at all. She has to work hard to get back into this. So Battle is in the lead right beside Jefferson Wooden, who now takes the lead. I think that's White. And Gabby Thomas is coming through now. She's going to get second. Thomas comes through for second, but Jefferson Wooden comfortable in the end. 22.06. Gabby Thomas racing through there for 22.19 closing. Kayla White 22.23. Battle 22.26. Want to see it again? Gabby would not like that curve at all. But we know she always closes, but that's not, she got left. She just popped up too. Battle was running a superb curve there. You have to love it. White too was pumping. Jefferson Wooden there working hard. But Gabby had to work hard to get back into that. Jefferson ran hard. I don't think she eased down at all. I'll have to see it again. So 22.06, 22.19, 22.23, and Battle 22.26. So the finalists, once they update that, so Battle White gets in. Yeah. So Shakari's out for sure. So it's Wooden, Long, Thomas, White, Battle, Brown, Stevens, White. Let me get back to these comments here. Anika said Davis, Battle, White, Gabby. Wow. Stay Curious says terrible race from Gabby. She was all over the place. Virginia says Gabby Thomas is overhyped. It's a little bit tough to say though, Virginia. I mean, she's the Olympic champion. We can argue around how that works. Every now and again, she pops up with some good times, obviously, but she has to improve on the curve. She doesn't run the curve well enough, but we'll see. Objectivity says yes, Gabby is known for a curve, but this is far from her 21.8 of the past. No, so I agree on that for sure. And Stay Curious says Gabby probably saved it for the final, but that was risky. Certainly have to run hard. I think she has to get out better. She has, even if she's running on what we might think is a conservative curve, you can't pop up. You have to kind of glide into it, and she has the experience, so she'll come back. Maul here trying to go over 4:53, and she didn't. She doesn't. Is that Maul? I don't know who that is. Average Joe says, "Wow, if Shakari had just leaned white, she would have made it." Yeah, she would have, but it's one of those things. Sherwood says, "What was interesting to hear Dina admit that she didn't run the 100 simply because she never ran two events at her trials." They still can pick her, right? Yeah. I want to get some details. I have to find. I'll actually. I'm working on something to. I'll get some more details on that. Hopefully before the week is out. From, but the important thing is, it's funny that Dina decided to call it quits already, which is interesting. I wonder why. Robert says Gabby knows that Melissa is a problem. Yeah, everybody has to know this one, right? Is it for real? So we're at what, 3:51. Rory says Dina is for sure going to Worlds in the 100. Daryl is likely to. Virginia, Melissa definitely a problem. Yeah, she's a problem this season. So what we'll have next, excuse me, at 3:55 p.m. we're looking at the semifinals of the men's 110-meter hurdles. At 4 o'clock, NBC is supposed to take over coverage. Now, the real question is, are these idiots going to screw this up? But anyway, I'll put up some pole vault in the meantime, not pole vault, some field events updates right now. And it's early rounds in the triple jump, 1693. Nothing to see here yet. Discuss, let's go back to that. Valerie Alman already pushing up to 70 meters, almost 69.66. La Luga Tasaga still in the mix here, 64.86. Frele 60.31. So still a few more rounds to go there. Pole vault, Moon, Morris, Leon. Mal has to get this right if she wants to stay in the mix. All right, they're actually showing the 110-meter hurdle semifinals. So the first one here, which is good. So Grant Holloway is here. Let me put the starting lineup on track. As you know, Grant Holloway is the defending champion, so he has nothing to worry about here. But he also was struggling with some injuries earlier this season, so he's working his way through. Yeah. And I'll get back to your comments. I know they're coming hot and heavy there, so it's hard to say. Uh, Sherwood said you should read Dina's interview. She mentions the need for communication about her races. She refuses to state who her new coach is. Dina has the 100-meter standard. Interesting. Fell out there. It could also be another issue, but I don't want to say anything. Afro Caribbean Carib says, please look at the splits for Melissa McKenzie and Gabby. I'll take a look at that in a second. Objectivity, Virginia, she's a problem in the hundreds for sure. He's responding to Virginia there. That 100, 200, 400 men's eight at Worlds gonna be crazy. It will be, and I'll get the rest in a second here because they're about to get in the blocks. Melissa's the real deal. Ferdinand Dina is laughing at my NBC issue. Yeah, because they're disrespecting the sport in many ways, but actually disrespecting us as well because all right, let's see. Flamingo Grant Holloway here. All right, a good start. Holloway first hurdle one, hurdle two. He's motoring ahead of everybody as Cordell Tinch is right beside him. But Tinch is coming up onto Holloway. He's gonna pass Holloway, I think. And it is Cordell Tinch 13-10 into a minus point one win. Holloway there, as I always say, is the greatest eight hurdles. After that, if you're in the mix, you can catch him, which is really a weird thing to say. But Cordell Tinch looking good because after he dropped that 1287 earlier this season, I wasn't quite sure where he was going to be. Holloway in second, Scott, I think, for third. But top two go through here. I have to see. Grant came out fairly well. They're doing a replay right now. Let me see. Tinch got left in, but he was hurdling really efficiently. Look at that. Very nice hurdling there from Cordell Tinch. Gets the Grant by hurdle nine, or well, after hurdle nine there. He's also hitting too. Let's see Grant's face here. Tinch, I meant. Grant isn't he's not hitting hurdles either. Grant is he's not smoothly going over them, but as at least the last couple, yeah, he hit hurdle 10 there at the end. Just a brush. 13-11, 13-1-8. Interesting. Ferdinand says UK will select Dina, Darrell, and Hunt for 100 and 200. All right, cool, cool. The dog. So, in how much minutes is the next 200 meters? That the 200-meter final comes up at 5:12 Eastern Standard and 5:21 Eastern Standard Time. Rachel says Melissa, Gabby, and Mackenzie to Tokyo. That's a good shout for sure. Africa, MJW 6.14, 6.2, 6.34. Ah, let's see. Gabby, so it's like mm, Gabby was what 6:20. Oh yeah, so she was. All right, I'll look at it again. Yeah. Eric says Tinch over Grant. Virginia is responding. Objectivity. I'm still Team Juju for the 100. Stay curious. Oh, we got to go to Peacock. Well, I think I already have this on NBC. I'm going to put this on another stream in the meantime. I suspect they'll allow me to watch the discuss. Yeah. Valerie Almondier. What? 71.45 for Valerie. Whoa. I just clicked on to see her running to her husband slash coach. That's a big, big throw there. 71.45. Anika says Tinch pull a parchment on Grant. See, the thing with Grant is that Grant doesn't. We even when Grant is in his prime, he usually gets away from you, right? So he wins everything by hurdle 6-7, and you're just not catching him. But if you can be with him, you can do a couple. Yeah, you can pull a parchment. A parchment from Tokyo, and a lot of like, a few. Grant doesn't lose often, but whenever he does, it's usually a situation like that. What's his name? Did it to him a few times too. What's the Jamaican guy that just Broadbell, and yeah, whenever he loses, it's usually something like that. Rachel says we'll see in the final. Tinch won for Eric says that. Grant back out the Grant back out the You're saying Grant should come out of the final? I don't. Let's see. Okay, those are the 50 to 100 meter, 150 splits. Yeah, I saw them. I look at them again. Robert, Melissa, Gabby, Brittany Brown. That's how you are having the finals coming up in a second. Rachel is saying wait until the final. Objectivity. The best part of Grant's race is his first 60. Oh yeah, I don't think anybody is better than Grant in history over the 60-meter part of the hurdles. I think he's the best at 8 hurdles. If you look at it consistently, and he's probably all-time great. He's probably the best ever. It just depends on how we think about it. Juju winning the 200 for sure if Sherika don't mentally get over the injury. Yeah, we want to see what what kind of shape Jackson shows up in. Hopefully she runs a couple more races that will give us a better indication. And Afro was saying those were the splits for 50, 100, 150 for the 200. Yeah, I can't see Juju winning both the 100 and 200. Well, I don't. It's an interesting thing. Why not? Why you think she can't do the double? Oh, that's an interesting kind of clothing there from. Is that Bruckner in the women's discus? That was a new fashion statement right there. It's almost like she's wearing a. Anyway, I shouldn't comment on fashion. I might get in trouble. Objectivity says rumors Jacko is looking good in training. Stay Curious says Juju's getting silver and bronze. Silver and bronze. Okay, so you're saying silver in the 100, bronze in the 200. Interesting. Eric says I'm still waiting for Laz to pull out of the final. I mean, you guys got the jokes here. I don't know why NBC hasn't switched over. Let me get this on a Peacock's thing right there. Because I'm missing out on stuff here. Did NBC pull over yet on anybody else's thing? Because the second heat is probably gone. I don't even know where my cursor is now. Well, the second heat should be coming up for the men's semifinal there. I put it on screen. I apologize. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm not getting that NBC's giving trouble here. Because I think they're showing it on the main NBC channel too, but it's just a bunch of commercials on my end. I don't know why are they waiting? What are they waiting for? So I'm gonna check Peacock in the meantime too. Paulette says, "Look out for Sharika. She'll be back." I hope so. I think from what we saw from Sharika, I don't think she's injured, right? Like I think she's over the injury from a physical standpoint. She just hasn't ran free. That's my thinking on it. Yeah, I said it a lot of the time. I could be wrong, but usually when you come back from long-term injury, the biggest issue for an athlete is feeling that they can execute and not think about the likelihood that they might get injured, right? And that's the most important thing for her. She has to just execute. Oh yeah, it's on NBC now. Yeah, I got it now. Yeah, I see it now. Anika said Peacock still loading. All right, it's here on NBC. I got it. So these guys are making it look as if things are starting here, showing Noah Lyles. It's like a fashion show here. What is he wearing? Yep. I'll get back to your comments in a second there, guys. All right, so I think they're gonna come in for this 100 and oh, they're gonna show the Holloway thing again. So, so I guess they're waiting before they run heat number 2. All right. Eric says Grant backs out of the final. Sherwood said either he pulls out or pulls up when Kenny passes him. And then yeah, I have it on. Nero says heat 2. Yeah. So yeah, they're now getting them now. Thanks. Yeah. Yeah. Sherwood says to put Sharika back in the conversation, we have to see her run before the World Championships. I agree for sure. Otherwise I need her to go and run and then give us a sub. If she can get to like 21.8 or 21.9, then I'll feel like I can make a reasonable prediction there. Outside of that, I just don't know. So this will feature Freddie Crittenden, Dylan Beard is here, Britt. Should be an interesting race here. All right. So good start there for Beard. Is Mo turning around? Is that Britt beside him? Britt is right there. I think Britt is gonna over. No, he won't overtake him. So it's Beard ahead of Britt. 13-11, 13-12. Those two go through automatically, and Tharp has to wait, and Marshall as well. I think I missed this conversation. Oh, I guess Eric is responding to Sherwood there. Stay Curious says that's a fire jacket. Paulette says you will see her. And Kenneth says Gabby needs to go back to the basics. She does not have the to sprint properly in the hundreds. No dry face. She runs like she's from a grammar school type sprinter. Bit harsh, but I know what you're saying. Yeah, Gabby curve running is not it has never been the greatest, but she has to run a better curve. She can't just pop up, and if she does that, she'll have a hard time getting back into the races. Sherwood says Eric he won't be able to blame Kofi this time. Yeah, you guys beating down Noah like that. Eric says Beard wins Heat 2. He did. And let me just get that again on screen so we make sure that everybody can, if you haven't seen it. So the bubble times right now is still Scott with a 13:27 from Heat 1, Tharp 13:30 from Heat 2, and Marshall from Heat 2 13:34. So we have one more coming up that will feature Trey Cunningham. He's been looking good all season. I think twice going 13 seconds flat. And I anticipate he should go through there in a comfortable time. Dina says if Gabby run like how she did, she will not make the team, and if she do, she ain't meddling at Tokyo. Yeah, she has to improve. They have Grant Fisher out there, a shot at Grant Fisher, I guess, walking. So let me get some updates on the field events in the meantime, because I think I don't. That was a big throw there from Valerie Alman. They're gonna show that on television, but I want to see where it is in total. I want to see this throw. It's a nice execution. Oh yeah, that discus was sailing. So yeah, 71-45. That's a big throw. And she follows up with a 70-20. So she's in real good form right now. Collins, Tasaga Collins, since her third round attempt, has fouled both, but she's still there. Only Jacobs there in at 63-33. So yeah. Objectivity. I'm actually surprised by her current form. She's not looking good at all. I Yeah, and then because earlier this season she ran what 49-2 in the 400, right? She did that it was in Jamaica. She did that or in Miami. I'm trying to remember. And I thought she was gonna be in blistering form, but maybe she picked up something and we don't know. Yeah. Objectivity is like maybe she's upset about not getting paid. I don't know. No one has gotten paid as far as I know. I think they asked Josh Kerr this today as well. And he was much more, I don't know how to put it. I guess Kerr was saying like he doesn't need the money right away as long as we get paid, but he understands others who might be making plans for the money. So Josh Kerr is in a more privileged position. And I think no one would complain that they hadn't gotten paid yet, because sometimes the payment from championships take a while. It's the fact that they're in financial issues, so you start to worry even more if you're gonna get any money. All right, so this is a clean start here. Cunningham looking good. He's like running away with this. As long as he doesn't mess up here, he should win this. And so Cunningham takes this in 13.15, win reading of 1.9. So it's Cunningham ahead of Wilson. Wilson 13.24. So Smallwood also makes it at 13.25. So your finalists are going to be, so each heat qualified an extra person. So Scott made it from heat 1, Tharp from 2, and Smallwood from 3. So it's going to be Tinch, Holloway, Scott, Beard, Britt, Tharp, Cunningham, Wilson, and Smallwood. Those are the guys we're going to try to get on the team. Mahamba easy. What did she jump? Ferdinand. Brian, what happened to Sania on NBC coverage? She was benched because of Grand Slam. No, wasn't she? Wasn't? Did she have a baby? I don't know. I actually don't. Someone can tell me. Or maybe I'm wrong on this. Yeah, Anika says she had a baby. Yeah, I think she's on like maternity leave or something like that. Yeah. Thanks. Dina is saying that objectivity may be onto something. No, I don't even. I'm not even following the conversation properly. I'm just waiting. Dina is saying I'm just waiting on the news that Elias pulls out of the final. Uh, you guys are just yeah. Virginia, the woman on maternity leave, correct. And Ferdinand 685 for Mihambo. Yeah, the long jump at the championships is going to be fire. absolute fire because what we're looking at here is Davis Woodall world lead. Mihambo had a world lead earlier in the same event that she lost, and yeah, I think those two are up there. I want to see what Yappuccino will do, but it has to be a fantastic setup for the women's long jump. All right, so there's some shot put going on, not shot put, discuss going on right now. I'll check that out in a second. All right, so next on the track will be the finals of the women's 800 meters. Let's get some predictions for that. Where you think how's this gonna go? It's gonna be an interesting race. Will Herta Klecker make the team? Addison Wiley. And what are we gonna get? Can Raven Rogers pull it out? Stay Curious says, where does I think Mo go from here? Maybe Diamond League. She can and should. I Yeah, I think she should just go racing for the rest of the season and you see what can happen. I saw Nagus is saying that if he really wants to make it to the World Championships, he has to win in Zurich. So I suspect he's thinking about trying to win the Diamond League final. Dina said her news of a friend that Sharika is doing good in training. It's a lot of friends there, but that's good. Yeah. The kid, what's up? She opened with a 49.14 in Jamaica in early March. Maybe all the Olympic Tour media events, sponsorship interviews, appearances have interfered with her training. Sometimes you have to deal with that. I think Gabby has a stable environment. I'm not sure. Maybe she picked up something and we just don't know. Because the interesting thing is that when it comes to injuries, niggles, we don't always get all the information. Athletes aren't transparent on that. Sometimes they're doing this because they don't want to reveal information to competitors. I have no idea. It's one of those things. But you hope that she has to run much better tonight to get into that final. If she executes the way she did earlier, she might be going to Tokyo only in the relays because they'll include her in the panel, I think. Papine boss says back to come Papine, man. I gotta read this before I put it on the screen. Yeah. Dina says, still not believing the news about Sharika until I see her on the track myself. She has to run. And she should run, get into some meets, and then we'll get a sense. And that's the best way to do it. Ferdinand says Addison Wiley, Nia, Atkins, Sage, Herta Klecker, and Rogers for fourth. Yeah. Objectivity is agreeing that he's like seeing is believing. If ever that was if ever there was a phrase you could use, that is it. All right, so the women's 100-meter final are off, or is underway rather, and Wilson's kind of moving. Let's see who goes beeline for the. It looks like it's a lane one athlete there. Is that Herta Klecker moving across there, or Nia Akins? What kind of camera angle is this? Oh, that's Willis actually. This is not a particularly fast movement. No, they're going around the bend and it's like 40 something meters. This is going to be almost like a minute and change at 800. Al- Almost minute on one. This is a slow pace. So Nina Aikens there, Willis is there, Herta Klecker just in the back there, but she always spends a little time before she get through. Yeah, like 1 minute 81 is not particularly good. Raven Rogers is out of it, I think, unless she's gonna come wide. Willis is still there. Herta Klecker now starts to make a move. I think Nia Aikens is gonna go. She's still leading, but she's struggling right now. This is not gonna be fast. This is gonna at this rate they're gonna be close to 2 minutes here. This is super slow. Nia Aikens still in the lead, but Herta Klecker is around there too. And there's a little bit of adjusting there. Rachel Roberts had to go way wide there. This is Willis is stepping up in the middle. Is Willis gonna be the national champion? She is. Oh, it looks like Congdon flew in there and then Herta Klecker. Nia Aikens is out of it. Look at that. 159.26, 159.38, 39, 159.48, 159.52. I think you had to run this much harder. Look at that finish there. Tripping people. Raven Rogers had to go all the way out in lane 5 or something like that. Lane 4. Yeah, 5. But Willis found a way. What a year for Willis too, right? Didn't she win the NCAA championship? Yeah. Nia was there until she lost out there. Herta Klecker there falling on almost on her face at the end. And Wiley, she it's tough for her because I think she suffered the most from that from almost falling there. Hmm. Let me get to some comments. Anika said, with that spirit, is a sprint finish any cars play. They should have run that harder. Yeah. Stay curious. Oh no. Objectivity. But in today's world, the saying, don't believe anything you hear. And only half of what you see is my standard mindset. I have to filter your comments. You're gonna try to get me laughing on the live. Imran, what's up? You happy about last night? Because it was a heart attack. Afro says, based on Gabby's splits, both MJW and Long are ahead of her in 100. Yeah, that is true. I didn't get back to that. Yeah, that's a bit troubling for her in terms of being at the top of the podium. She has to get out quicker. I think the thing is, Gabby should have more speed endurance than the other two, but I don't. But she's not showing it right now. Her 400 meters much better than the other two too. So she has to really try to be with them and then try to maintain her speed and slow down slower than the rest. But she can't give up that distance because it's a problem. Uh, what's going on with the Camden thing right here? I still cannot believe what I saw. I mean, it was heartbreak. It was crazy. They should have won it easy. Tennis Allen, how you do? Tennessee Allen, how did the 200-meter semi go? Let me get that up for you. So your finalists for the women are Wooden, Long, Thomas. Is that on screen? Yeah. White, Battle, Brown, Stevens, White, and Shakara Richardson missing out on the final because she didn't really dip properly, I would say, in her semifinal. And for the men, Lyles leads everyone through with 1997. I think he ran hard for that. Kenny, somewhat comfortable 1999. And then you have Gregory. Lindsay looked really comfortable in his semifinal. Knighton in as well. Coleman, King, and Max Thomas, along with Tamar's McCollum, who also was right behind Courtney Lindsay in their semifinal. Stay Curious says weakest US 800 team in years. Yeah, I don't anticipate any of these women to factor in the 800 meters this year in Tokyo. It's interesting where the 800 meters. We haven't seen anything from Keely Hutchinson, and my suspicion is that she's not going to run at all this season because every time she was supposed to run, she hasn't. So she's struggling with some injuries there. I imagine the Ethiopian will do really well. Tejas Duguma. Hunter Bell looks superb. She also looked good at the British Championships too here. This Prudence Segodisa, I think if she finds the right form, could find her way on the podium. You got the likes of Getachew as well. Yeah, I don't know. Weru had a good 157 earlier this season. The Swiss athlete, she was coming into like breaking out on the scene. So I'm not quite sure what we get in the 800 meters. Certainly, even if Hutchinson was to arrive at the championships, I can't imagine that she's in any kind of a form to contest the top three from this year. But we'll have to wait and see. The kid says, I think is young. She'll only be 26, 27 come LA Olympics. If she has the right passion and determination to continue, I think she will find herself on top of the global podiums again. I certainly agree with that. Bryce Hoppel on screen. The thing for I think Mo is that she has to figure it out. Men's shot put guys looks like they're warming up there. She may have to leave Bobby eventually. A lot of people have been saying this. Some people on this channel think it's over already, and she should make the decision right away. She could wait and see the end of the season. Well, it's a talented athlete. It's an athlete that's a generational talent, one that many people believe could go sub 154, and that's a lot. It's not that's fast, but now she has to rediscover everything about the sport. There might be questions about whether she loves the sport. That's really hard to kind of measure, but you hope she falls in love with the sport again and finds the right environment. She didn't admit that she's still learning Bobby, and Bobby's still learning her, and which is interesting, but we'll have to see. Robert says Ajay Wilson's career appears to be over. Possibly she's there. You're appreciated there. I'm happy you're doing well. Tunisia. And Imran says, I thought the last ball was a wide. Yeah. Oh, it was not a wide. Okay. All right. I'll get back to the comments in a second. The men's 800 meters just started. Can we get Donovan Brazier on a team? Because he has been back. But I think Josh Howie, Miller, Bryce Hopper, Donovan Brazier, we're looking at a big run here. You know, there's Cooper Luchtenhaus too. They're actually motoring right now. I think Josh Howe is pushing the pace. Miller right there behind him. Bryce Hoppel also making sure that he's in the mix. So those three there and Donovan Brazier hanging on right behind them. Let's see what we get here. They're motoring here. This is going to be about 49 and change for the first 400. Let's see what comes up on screen. So Howie's going to take them through. It's pretty good there. That's about 49-29. Pretty decent. Really fast. A bunch of guys there and at 49. At least 4 or 5. Yeah, 4 of them. So Josh Howie leading. Brandon Miller actually moving there Donovan Brazier is right beside them, hanging out. Also, Bryce Hopple. So those four are there. This is going to be quick. This has to be sub 143. So look at Donovan Brazier still in the race. Bryce Hopper right behind Josh Howe and Miller. So it's all those four right there. Donovan Brazier is going to win. Oh my God. Bryce Hopper is falling on his face. And look at Cooper Luckton finds his way on the team. You got to be kidding. From a guy that wasn't sure he was going to run again. A dude that broke his leg. Brazier just run 142.16. And Cooper just run 142.27. He can't even drive. Isn't he 16? You got to be joking. And Bryce Hopper there, 142.49. Josh Howe misses out in 143.06. Brandon Miller, PB, 140. This is outrageous running here. It's the best race of the championship. I get to the comments in a minute, but I was hoping that Brazier would make the team. I didn't know he had that in him though. I mean, he's been improving all season, but to get to that 142.16, look how he just like goes through Josh Howe. Howe should have blocked off the lane better than that. You can't make this up. This is the stuff for dreams. How old is Cooper? Isn't he 16? Now I gotta look this up. He is 16. The kid was born December 19, 2008. Ain't no way. I have never seen this. A 16-year-old running 142.27 that we didn't even know about. I'm getting into this comments. Ferdinand's backing Prudence. Predictions for tonight, Imran. I have no idea. You can't predict West Indies. I'm missing that. I think Stay Curious was shocked. Mr. Roo Smith says, man, that 800 was good. That was quality, real quality. 142.16 there for Ferdinand pointing out too. Nevada said, I told you Donovan would make the team. He did. No Josh Howe. I can't believe Josh Howe didn't make the team. I mean, this US team is difficult. Last night, no Goose, no Hop Kessler. Howie got to go win Diamond League. He has to go win a Diamond League final. Yeah, Howie didn't make it. A lot of favorites for Tokyo are going to be off the podium. Virginia, which one is 16? Yeah, Cooper is 16, yeah. Yeah, he is. Cooper must have broken a world age record. I have to believe so. Yeah. It has to be. Let me get back to some comments here in the meantime. Watch out for those athletes who weren't doing any. Who aren't doing or saying much at the moment. Okay, I guess that will happen. Papi, I'll get to that in a second. So actually, that has to, yeah, that is a youth record because what is it? Aman has the world record, the under 18 record, right, which is 143.37. If this is correct, and I know Nigel Amos has a 141 and change, I believe. He has the under 20 record for sure, Amos. But I think the youth record must. I'm just googling it right now. Yeah, the under 18 is 143.37. I think if that's correct. Yeah, that is. Yeah, that has to be an age group record for sure. Certainly the fastest 16-year-old ever, probably. That's outrageous running when we think about it. And Wendigo says, I didn't want Brazier to make it. Really? Passion and drive tells you if someone loves something. A thing and Shakari doesn't appear to really love the sport. They compete because of talent only. I hear you objectively, something, but those things are hard to measure sometimes, because sometimes you see people if they don't show emotion to something, it doesn't mean they don't love it either. It's one of those things. But I understand where you're coming from. Yeah. I guess there's a conversation between Stay Curious and Papine that I'm missing out on. So yeah, we'll leave that there. Yeah, look at that, guys. That is special. A lot of PBs running through. I thought Brandon Miller ran really well and just didn't have enough in him. Look at that. Look at that. It is. Yeah, so it is. They have updated it to an under 18 world record. The under 20 world record I know is Nigel Amos. I think that's what 141.7. I'll check for sure, or someone can tell me. It should be 144, 141.7. But 142.16, 142.27, 142.49, 143.06. These are good times here, and not to make it. Yeah. Stay curious. USTF at the Worlds. 800 at the Worlds. It's gonna be outrageous. Outrageous 800 meters. You're thinking about Wanyoni, Atoe, Tual, Habaz. It's just gonna be crazy. Crazy. The Canadian dude, Marco Arap. You can't make this up. Jasmine Jones on the screen. Mr. Ru says Shakari has nothing to prove at the moment, though I'm not a fan. She just needs to show up at the championships. Yeah, the age group record was 145.45, also by same. Okay. And Virginia said, yes, I was cheering for Brandon. Objectivity, just look in the eyes. It's like the old George Bush thing, right? I looked into Putin's eyes or whatever he said or something like that. All right, so we are here for the final of the women's 400-meter hurdles. Can Dalila Muhammad make it? Because there's no way we thought she would have come back with a bang like this. There's Anna Cockrell, Jasmine Jones. Let's see what we get here. I agree on that. So a clean start here. Mohammed is making up his stag already onto Jasmine Jones. Anna Cockrell needs to be moving there. She's not moving enough. She's now starting to step. But look at Dalila right here. Dalila is like running like back in the day. She's like rewinding. She's like turning the time back. Anna Cockrell here has to be motoring. Jasmine Jones still in it. So it's going to be Mohammed, Anna Cockrell, and Jasmine Jones leading them into the home stretch. And Anna Cockrell is fighting with Dalila, but Dalila is going to take the title. I don't think Cockrell rather can pass her. So those three will go to the championship. 52.65 6. Officially 52-65 for Mohammed. Cockrell season best 52-89. Jones 53-23. You have to give it up to Dalila. She's ending on her terms. She said this is it, but she's going to the World Championships in an individual spot. The national champion again. Look at that. She looks good. Jasmine Jones struggling there at the end to make it, but she does. Look at those splits here. Yeah, she was first to the first hurdle. Yeah, look at that. 6:07. I knew it from the get go. She was like making up a stagger. Muhammad led all the way in this race. Sherwood says yes, Dalila. Willow Willis says go, Dalila. Yeah, she's special. Stay curious. Come on, Dalila. Stay curious says USTF should love the sport enough to broadcast it consistently. Shake my head. Yeah, it's a big question there. You gotta ask. I I don't know what to say about USA track and field. On a crackle here on screen. But yeah. Papin says I knew Dalila would win. Well, or would have won rather, sorry. That was really, really good race there. Appreciate everybody. Keep those comments coming in. We got up next will be the men's final. Prediction times for that. Let's see what we'll get. Rai Benjamin, Caleb Dean. I guess Benjamin should win this with a canter. I don't think it's gonna be any issues here. Christopher Robinson. Can CJ Allen do something and get on the team? Not quite sure. Papin says Benjamin raced this. Objectivity, do you think that's why Sydney back out of the 400 hurdles? Give her teammate a shot at goal? No, I don't know. I think the decision there is a decision because they're always tinkering, and at some point, the she wants to do another event. A couple of years ago, they toyed with it. They did do it. She was going after the Sonny Richards Ross record, and it didn't happen then. I think it will happen eventually. At this stage, McLaughlin has done everything she can in the 400 meters hurdles rather. I mean, I guess she could come back and win another time, but the dominance is large enough. I would have loved her to win some more world championship titles, but the way she's pushed the sport, the way that she's pushed the world record, the way out there, and she's that good to run all the way down to 100-meter hurdles rather if she wanted to. She could run a good 200 on our day. So it's I don't know. I don't know if that comes into the calculation. I do understand that she has a massive respect for Mohammed. All of these girls do. Sydney talks about it. Anna Cockrell talks about it too. The kind of mentorship capacity and so on that Mohammed played for them too, beyond just being an inspiration. So yeah, I don't think the athletes think that way, to be honest with you, right? Yeah. Papin says this is Benjamin's race. Where's Shamar Little? It's a very good question there. Did she get injured the other day? I'm not quite sure. Yeah. When Digo says, I don't think MJ Doubler can defeat Gabby in the 200 finals. She has more races in her legs. Well, we'll see. We'll see. Benjamin for the win. Ferdinand says Willow says Rai will take it easily. And Mr. Ru says Sydney may be bored. She seems to want to spread her wings and see what else she can accomplish in the sport. It's quite possible. Quite possible. So we'll get the men's 400-meter hurdles next. Then we're going to pop up with the 5,000 meters. Then we'll get the 200-meter final. And there'll be some 5,000 meters for women. And the evening will end with the 110-meter hurdles. Let me put the lane assignments up for the 100-meter hurdles, 110-meter hurdles, sorry. So it's Tharp, Scott, Marshall, Beard, Brittinch, Cunningham, Wilson, and Smallwood. What? So Holloway pulled out. Yeah, so no Holloway for the final. Let's look at the 200-meter final. Lyles is still listed, so he hasn't pulled out. Yeah, Noah has a buy in the 200. Yeah, Noah has a buy in the 1 and the 2. He's the reigning champion from Budapest. All right, so we'll see what happens here in the 400-meter hurdles. This should be an easier run for Rai Benjamin. Still think the medals are going to come at the World Championship between Benjamin, Varham, Dos Santos. It's hard to look past those. Stay Curious says Melissa got that win dog in her. And Mr. Roosmith says Holloway and Lyles don't need to run. They are defending champions. Yeah. I think Lyles need to run just for getting in shape. All right, so they're off there. I mean, Rai Benjamin is like way out there. He's murdering these guys. It's not even close. He's already taken up the stagger on everybody. He is killing these guys coming around the bend. This is really, he's going to be super fast here. Look at that. He's coming off the curve in front of everybody. It's like a 4-meter lead, 5-meter lead. It's 10 now. It's going to be 15, 20. Look at this. A bigger margin you'll never see. It's going to be sub 47. 46.89. Holy. Dean comes in second in 48.45. I couldn't even see this. Look at that. It's almost a 2 second. He's not even in the shot. No one is in the shot. 46.89. Pretty good time there. Rai Benjamin. I think I saw an interview yesterday where he wanted Olympic champions to get a bye too for the World Championships. I'm not sure I agree with that, but we'll see. So yeah, Rai made that look easy. That's probably the 4th or 5th fastest time in the world this year. Can't complain. Let's see where I left off in the comment. Darren says Shamar Alita was injured in the Philadelphia Grand Slam. Yeah, I think I remember that. Benjamin has more in the tank. Yeah, he certainly does. I think he look. You have to be. These guys are trying to run low 46, right? Because if you don't run low 46, you may not win. Yeah, because you can best believe that DeSantis is going to show up in that kind of shape. Varham will show up in that type of shape. He's also on the decline when you compare him to Benjamin and DeSantis, but not for the rest of the field. And Stay Curious says, I feel like Dean panics on the last turn ever since the fall he panicked. Interesting. I haven't even I haven't made that assessment. Perhaps I have to look at it again. Yeah. But these are the final. Yeah, so you have Dean, Robinson, Allen misses out once more. Robert says DeSantis for the goal. I usually would say that at one point I was saying in terms of upside, DeSantis has more than the rest. The height, I thought he could actually push for a sub 46 too, but Joe Kovacs here in the sector. That looks like it's close to 22 meters. Yeah, but back to DeSantis. But then he picked up some injuries, so I'm not quite sure where he might be in terms of the ability to get back to like that sub 46. But I like him a lot. I think he has a lot of. He's the youngest of the lot too, right? Is he? Yeah. What is that objective? Holy, I'm maybe I missed out on that. All right, so 5,000 meters is gonna come up next. I suspect NBC is gonna show a bunch of commercials throughout the whole of that. Grant Fisher is there. Let's see what we get from him. Cole Hawker's in the race. Nico Young. Let's see. Nico Young did do something. He won the 10,000, right? I saw the last part of that on Thursday night. Was it? So we'll get men's 5,000 meters on the track, and then after that, we have the women's 200-meter final, men's 200-meter final, 5,000 for women, 110-meter hurdles, and then the team for Tokyo. That's it. I want to check what's going on in the shot put right now. Let's give an update on that on the screen. Joe Kovacs in the lead. First round, just early rounds here in the men's shot put. 21:59. Peyton Otherdal 21:17, and Josh Atatunde 21:09. So still early days in the men's shot put. Ryan Krause has the bye. He's also had an injury plague season, so he's hoping to get to Tokyo too. That was T. Johnson in the. That was a terrible throw. Didn't get any height on that. Probably about 18 meters or so. Ferdinand says Nico Young, my win for 5K. Grant Fisher second. Young looked good the other night. Can he out? Let's see. We'll see. Ferdinand Sandemars pole vault 4 meters, 83 cm. Let's get a update on the pole vault. I have not checked in a while. That's a season best for her too. Katie Moon 473. Mal, okay, Mal actually did clear on that attempt, so she's now at 473 too. So those three are making it to Tokyo. So Cole Hawker there, I believe ahead of, is that Fisher behind him? No, actually it's Cooper tier, sorry. I caught some of the 5,000 meters today in the British Championships, and that looked decent. I thought Josh Kerr looked decent in the early today. I think he went around 13:44:73. He was easily winning that, but that's nothing right now. Let's see. This might be really quick. It could be in a second or in a couple more laps. We'll get a sense of how quick this might be, but it's possible that they could go. They should go sub 13 here. All right, let me get back to some comments here in the meantime. Ferdinand did say, yeah, I got that before. Objectivity, Russia and Clark is the youngest of the. He is. I meant like in terms of the big three, Dos Santos, Varham, and Rai Benjamin. Imagine if Rai Benjamin decided if he followed in his dad's footsteps. He'd be running up and down for the West Indies. Asir, how are you doing? Good to have you back on the channel. The kid says, I would love to see Rai Benjamin try some of the flat races during the next 2 seasons. He's a skilled sprinter, and I think he can give the 200, 400 specialists a run for their money. 200, I'm not 100% sure. 400, I'd like to see him, but it could happen. That means he probably would, if he was going to run 2, you'd have to probably walk away from the hurdles for sure. So, and I don't think the resume is stacked enough yet for him to walk away, right? He's accomplished a lot, but Asir says, I'm so happy for Chris Robinson that he made it after the embarrassing moment he suffered in Prague. I'm sure a lot of people know about the Chris Robinson embarrassing moment. Turns out that apparently he got some endorsement money from that, so who knows, Sometimes, when life gives you unexpected embarrassment, you turn it in for good. Stay Curious says Nico Young lived up to the hype. He did. Thunder Juice, I cannot put that on the screen. You got to be careful about the things that you're writing. How did this even pass my filter? This should not pass the filter. I got it. Yeah. See, Virginia was like, I thought he got some endorsement from that. Yeah, he did, he did. Ah, you're right, Casey. Thanks for reminding me on that. Yeah, both the Mall twins made it to the World Championship because Katie Moon has the bye. Yeah, 100% true. Yeah, that slipped my mind right there. Yeah, yeah. I don't know what NBC is doing, advertising its own stuff. Oh, they're advertising the Winter Olympics. Okay. I'll get back to the 500 in a second. I think at 2,000 meters, Cole Hocker's in the lead at with the splits of 5, 34, 44. Cooper Tears there, Dylan Jacobs, Grant Fisher behind him, Hacker, then Young, but it's still motoring around at this pace. I don't really. Hmm. Is this closer to 13? We'll see. I'll have to do a calculation after. Yeah, you trying to get in trouble there, Thunder Juice? All right, let me check some field events too, because they were still in it, and let's see where the men's shot. Oh, Joe Kovacs just went 22:07. They're gonna show it on screen now. I had it here, but I didn't see it on the other screen. Look at that. Oh, that's a big throw from Joy Kovacs there. So Kovacs cemented. I don't think a lot of people can beat that tonight. I mean, I know Trip Ripper could get there and also Peyton, but that's a big throw there from Joe Kovacs. Nevada said, "Who do you have making the team in the 110?" I'll get to that in a second. Let me just bring up the finals, the start list, so people can see it again if they haven't seen the lane assignments. I think it's gonna be Trey Cunningham, Cordell Tinch. Tinch might win it. He looked comfortable if he executes well, and I think Dylan Beard is just gonna sneak it. I think it's gonna be Beard, Tinch, and Cunningham. Britt could do something, but I'm not. Yeah, I'm not quite sure. Yeah. That's where I'm going. Asira says the women's 200 is too close to call. Some favorites may miss out. Objectivity says Winter Olympics gets more coverage than Worlds. Yeah, that. What's that NBC contract they re-signed? Was it like 4 billion or 6 billion for the Olympic coverage? They gotta promote it. I bet you if this was an Olympic year, they would be promoting everything. They have the rights to this, but they just treat it as you know, like a bastard stepchild or something like that. I'm gonna kind of zoom in, focusing a little bit on this 5,000 meters because I'm missing out now. At 3,000, they went at 8:21:34. So Cole Hocker still in the lead. Cooper Tier still right there. Grant Fisher, but everybody's starting to bunch up right now. So I think they're gonna try up the pace right now. Haka going wide, it looks like there. Cooper Tier still there. Grand Fisher in the mix. I think it's anybody's game right now. But Nico Young is way in the back right now. Yeah, Virginia said, "Yep, that's how USA treats USA track and field." I keep saying it, but one of the things that USA track and field, but more importantly, World Athletics need to hire the people who sell the English Premier League and the NFL. They need to get people from that kind of team in terms of how they can structure, and even the NBA guys, how they sell global stuff and make money. They're joking. Haka still in the mix here. He is leading. The pace isn't fast enough. I think like 4,011, 0418. They're setting this up for a sprint. You don't want to do this. Grand Fisher needs to start moving. Nico Young has to come up and do it if he wants to. But it's like everybody there. This is like a training run they're doing. Well, not a training run, but they're just running pacing right now. Nico Young starts to make a move now. Look at him now. He got upset with the pace. Hacker also moving. Oh my god, he's gonna fall. Oh, he didn't. I think at this point you gotta start opening up for space right now. Young starts to move. Cole Hacker going in reverse. Grant Fisher coming up right now, right beside Young. Belly up now. It's gonna be a big sprint. Hacker doesn't look like he has anything left. He's done. Nico Young here moving. Fisher right behind him. But Cole Hacker, where is he? He's still, is he still there? He's out of the shot right now, but Cole Hacker is coming in the inside right now. This is gonna be 13 and high, I think. Well, at least maybe 13:30, 13:27, somewhere there. Look at Nico Young, Grant Fisher. Hacker is gonna come in the inside. Look at him. Look at that nonsense. You let Cole Hacker come in the inside. It's gonna be a sprint out between Hacker and Grant Fisher here. Look there. 13:26:45. Cole Hacker wins the 5,000 meters after it looked like he was out of it on the last leg, on the final lap rather. He comes in the inside. That was a good race in the end. Not particularly super fast, but look at that. He came in from the inside. They allow Hocker to do the same thing he did before. Grant Fisher there motoring, and Nico Young did enough to stay because Drew Hunter was coming. Darren says, I like the way Cooper Tier is protecting Cole Hocker. I expect the last 1,000. Yeah, sorry, I missed that part because I was watching. The dog says, it's Kenny's time soon. Let's go and get a 19.5. Let's look at that. Hocker does 51.76 on the last split there for Hocker. That's pretty cool. Fast. 52.88 for Fisher. Young 53.27. But look at Cole Hawker there. He looks like he's not even blowing. Adrian, after watching in the UK and want to go to bed, but this is too good. I can't. Adrian, good. Yeah, well, you had great track and field today in Birmingham. Did you go? I was watching that earlier today. That was some good stuff there. So we have women's 200-meter final in a second. Oh, that's cool. Very good. The conditions look not so great today, but based on the how it looked on the screen to me, but I like that. From your vantage point, I thought that that corner from Zarnell was beautiful today. Yeah. 200-meter final coming up. Let's go, guys. Will it be Jefferson Wooden for the double? Will Gabby Thomas step up and run a better race? Will Brittany Brown get on this team again? What about Mackenzie Long? Can Jamisha Ford, Kayla White? What's going to happen here? We'll battle our way into on a team. This is a tough thing. This is a tough team. People are going to be disappointed for sure. I think Asira was saying that early on, but it's one of those things. Oh, I forgot Manchester United is playing right now. So while they're on commercial break, I'll do a quick update on the shot put. We still got Joe Kovacs with 22.07, Trip Prippery 21.92, and Peyton Otherdal 21.74. Josh Atatawinde there at 21.09. So still some time to pick that. The women's pole vault just it's only Sandy Morris left there. 483, Katie Moon 473, Mal 473, and both of them are off to the World Championships. Women's discus, as we mentioned earlier, Valerie Almond there with a 71.45. Then she followed that up with another 70.28. Lalaga Tasagala, she had a 64.86, and Jacob 63.33. All right, we're getting to the final of the women's 200 meters coming up, so we're gonna watch that. I'll get to some comments. People of Fin Photography, that's Finney rather, sorry. Who is here for Brittany Brown? Let's go. Brittany Brown, you gotta like her. I think she's a really cool, great competitor, fights hard, and yeah. Stay Curious says hard to predict. Nevada Paul, what's the winning time in the men's 200 meters? I don't know what time is going to be they'll run. I have no idea. I don't think you need more than 19.7 to win tonight, unless something is up. Yeah. Jefferson, Mr. Rue Smith says, should qualify. This is not the time to peak. Ferdinand, that was payback for Cole after the 3K. Yeah. Sherwood, Man United playing, you're better off watching these trials. I don't want to put you on timeout, Sherwood. You know, I'm always like, you know, I'm taking pain, you know, a lot of pain. That's a clean start here. Oh my God. Jefferson Wooden is flying around the corner. Gabby's running the same type of curve than before. Brittany Brown running really well. A battle looks good in lane 2 there. And it's Jefferson Wooden that's going to do this. Mackenzie Long trying to make a move. So too is Gabby Thomas, but it's going to be Jefferson Wooden 21:85. 21:84 is the official time. Battle 22:13. Gabby Thomas 22:20. I thought Brittany Brown had that over Thomas, but I couldn't see. We have to look at it again. Whoa. Yeah, look at that. My God. 22:20 for Thomas, 22:20 for Brown, 22:20 for Mackenzie Long. Oh my, look at that. It's like 22.197, 22.198, 22.199. You cannot see this with the naked eye at all. Talk about cruel. Personal best for MJW. 0.5 win. Look at Battle. I told you Battle was going to battle away into this one. That's kind of corny there for me, but Gabby Thomas there. How? At first, I thought it was Brittany Brown, but it's hard. You know, clearly, my eyes are deceiving me because you can't separate this with the naked eye. Look at that. Gabby Thomas fighting to be on a team. Mackenzie Long there also moving. Brittany Brown's head going rocking back a little bit too much there. Mm. 22:20 is the number. Look at that. 3 women running that time. Thousands of a seconds is the difference there. Robert says Brittany Brown stumbled coming off the curve. She lost momentum. I need to see the race one more time. Sad from people of film photography. Objectivity. Wow, Juju has her work cut out. She does, but it's going to be good. The original BI Strong says, and this is why you're lean. Mr. Roosmith, Gabby got there by the skin of our teeth. Darren says, Melissa Jefferson Wooden will look great on the curve for the US 4x1. Yeah, she would. Mr. Rue at first thought Gabby was out, but she wasn't. In the end, Stay Curious third is very debatable. It's it, it isn't. It's heart wrenching. It's tough, but those things go up to 10,000 frames per second. You can separate down to a very much of a toenail here. The real question is whether or not we should include that. I'm going to show you why. So, it's a great book by Jonathan Finn, and I need to get him on the channel at some point. But it's really kind of a good book on the history of the photo finish. And this kind of development of how you separate athletes. And as much as many of this become comes out of like what you could think of a scientific revolution or something of that sort, is the idea that sports requires a community of people to agree on what makes sense. And so we go down to the thousandth of a second in track and field, but that's not visible with the eye. You cannot see that. It's impossible to see. And some sports go to 100 of a second. I think horse racing and others, but yeah, so that kind of separation is tough. And so when you get to this type of level of a granular way of like, this is what separates someone, it's hard. In a case like this, yeah, you have to make a team, but in terms of like giving out medals to separate someone for a thousandth of a second is utterly ridiculous in the grand scheme of things. But that's part of the norms of the sport, and probably we have to change in some ways. But yeah, that's my rant on that. But I would recommend reading Beyond the Finish Line. It's a really good book. Yeah, yeah. Uh, that's the nerdy aspect of me, guys. I suspect some of you know that already. Uh, let's see where we are. Oh, Anika says Noah is there. I did see him. Mackenzie 22199. Yeah. Now, Brittany, why didn't you lean? Virginia is saying that. Yeah, at one point her head was a little bit back. I want to see the curve again because someone said she stumbled on the curve, but I just didn't notice that. Noah really racing. I guess he's serious about it. Objectivity. Okay, something went wrong with Gabby the past few weeks. No way she's now 22 athlete coming from the past. Yeah, I think she must have had some setbacks. It can't be. The dog. Crazy to think Amy Hunt would have done well in that race. Gabby's cooked at the world. She ain't meddling. Dina saying Brian Juju will destroy them. Virginia Gabby ain't meddling in the worlds. Dina says, I don't see Melissa winning, probably get a medal, but she's not winning the 200. What did I say? I said Juju's gonna do the double, but I still will wait. I probably stand by that, but we'll see. Amy Hunt would get dead last. And all right, Nathan, let's get to the worlds. It's gonna be interesting there. All right, we are here for the 200-meter men's final. Last chance to get it. I think Kung Fu Kenny wins this. Courtney Lindsay on the team for me. The question is, who else gets on the team? Obviously, Noah is already there. He's just running for his title and probably to get in shape. And let me get back to some comments while we wait on that. Kenny, Noah, Lindsay, T-Mars, and Knighton for Ferdinand. Where did I miss? The kid, when it gets down to 1,000 of a second, I'm always a bit skeptical because then it's the official's decision based on how they see the line. No, but yeah, I think it's less than that though, because I mean the buildup is there. The cameras are making the thing. Yeah, I gotta do a video on photo finish again. MJW said on more than one occasion, I want to be the best ever, I guess, to do it, I guess, yeah. All right, I get back to your comments. We watch this race right here. Let's see what kind of shape. Kung Fu Kenny running a good turn. He's gone in front of Noah Lyles. Also Coleman there. Look at Noah Lyles. Is he coming back in this? He's coming back into this. Lyles takes a look. and looks at Kung Fu Kenny, who pushes him at the end of the race. 1963 for Noah. I don't think they're having a good moment there. Are they having a good moment? I think they're upset with each other because I think he looked over to him. That doesn't look good there. He's upset. Kung Fu Kenny is. 1963 for Noah. Point two win. Nothing is wrong with him. Whoa. 1967 for Kung Fu Kenny. Gregory makes the team ahead of Lindsay. Look how far Noah comes back from this. And he looks over and he's mounting off to Kung Fu Kenny. I'm not sure I like that though. I'm not sure I like that. I don't know if I like that. And he goes over into his lane. He pushes him. That's not good there. That's not good. I don't know if I don't think Kung Fu needed to push him, but they're mounting off. They're saying some stuff here. My gosh. Let me get to the comments. Sorry guys. I don't know where I am. Objectivity said Noah. Whoa. Objectivity, them two don't like each other. Anika, whoa, whoa, whoa. That was no handshake. Yeah, I don't know what that was. I think he was telling. Let's see. Oh, they're mounting off. He says he expected a call, and if you have a problem, oh, they shouldn't be doing this on television. I think they should back off of this. And Lewis should have separated them. Mr. Roosmith, I love that push at the end. Yeah, they've been feuding for years. Noah is back, Ferdinand. I like it. They're upset, but it's a little bit testy, But maybe the sport needs that. Maybe the sport needs that. I don't know. Anika, top four goes. Noah as the buy. Yeah, yeah, that's true. Yeah, yeah, yeah. So Tame actually, Lindsay makes the team too. So yeah, yeah, yeah. Aaron doesn't make the team. Goes sub 20. What happened to Tamar's? I have to see the race all over again. It was just like I was just looking at Noah coming in. Uh Dina's dying with laughter here. Dina, they don't like each other. Allison, how you doing? Hating Eric Parks. What do you say? No. Okay. Virginia says Lord. Kimani, I said Noah looks great from the first 200 opener. Yeah, they do have beef. Nice, Noah. Brian Brown says, I told you Noah has more fights and guts. You did say that. And 1963, that's the fastest time in the world, right? Yeah. He's clearly not sharp over 100 meters. He's clearly not sharp, but he takes his 200 seriously. He takes it seriously. Stay Curious is laughing here. The dog Kenny said, see you in 2 weeks when replying to Noah. I expect my apology. Dina's dying with laugh that they're arguing. Kimani, he said his body's in a different realm and his diet had to improve to accommodate it, I guess. Paulette, no one need to act better. Yeah, I don't really like that. I can get the thing, but at some point at the end, you don't want to mouth off too much or push it. There's a limit to this. Stay curious. We got a fight in Tokyo. Mr. Roosevelt, if USA wants to win the relay, don't have Kenny pass the baton to Noah. The they sure would lose. I guess Virginia, they're about to fight. Mina, it's Kung Fu fault. When he realized he lost the race, he puts his hand out. I know, which is totally uncalled for. 1963 here. Yeah, Kenny ran 1967. Yeah, so all those guys will make it. So it's gonna be Kenny, Gregory, Lindsay. Those three go through because Noah has the bye. Anika, he should never put his hands on him. Let him have the moment. Kung Fu out of order. Yeah, I don't like the hands-on approach. Sandra Green says Eric Sherwood Sunday dinner spoil blessings all happens. Sherwood, Lord, now we have to hear Noah's big mouth even more. Hey, for whatever it's worth, however we view Noah Lyles, you he's a showman. He backs up his talk a lot. Sometimes he doesn't, but more than more invariably he gets it done. And so yeah, Brian Brown says Noah right to beat him. Kimani Evans says he's serious about getting a shoe, and I think he has been working towards it. I respect the guy, but he takes what he does so seriously. Yeah. Asira says Noah looked at Kenny with contempt after the finish line. He called for the push. I mean, he was staring him down, but I don't know if you have to resort to pushing him. I guess Kung Fu will say he moved over into his area of the lane, even though it's after the race. So maybe that's why. I don't know. Yeah. Noah brings the excitement to track. Onika says Eric Kenny for World Championship 200. Nevada, things are getting dicey in the men's 200 meters. Yeah, it's a bit testy right now. We're moving to the 5,000-meter final for women. And then after that, the 110-meter hurdles. Not sure anything will top the push there or the look from Noah at the end. That is interesting. Jared said, I told you to mark my words. You're around, Jared. Brian says, damn madness. Jared, Noah got it done. He did. Sherwood, I tell you what, Noah better pull that stunt. Noah better not pull that stunt with any of the Jamaicans, especially Akeem Blake. He's trying to have some international incidents there, right? Yeah. I swear, did Gabby Thomas actually third place to get that? Yeah, she did. I put the results up again, but a bunch of them clocked the same time, separated by thousandths of a second there. So Gabby Thomas ran 2020 along with Brown and Long, but it's separated by 197, 198, 199. So really, really close. Kimani says Kenny cannot win a guy that ran way fewer races and walked him down. Jared Noah running 19-2 at Worlds. You pushing these things out there. I don't think so, but that's a big drop off to get to. He's not running 19-2 after rounds in the 100 or anything like that. That's not happening. I don't think he's run faster than 19.5 since he started to double. Dina says Noah's fooling us. He's way faster in the 100 than 1963. In the 100, that 1963 is 100 in his 100s up to form. Yeah, so you think he's playing games with everybody? Possibly, but Virginia says Tobago said no, I'll be taunting people. Yeah, those two don't like each other either. You know, yes, that's always interesting. That's what track spice deserve. Well, you mean space? Okay, yeah. Dina says he ain't running 19.2. Yeah, I agree. There's no way he's running 19.2. Yeah. I don't. I know Jared comes with these times all the time, but 19.2 is not happening. Christina says Noah. I guess that's Noah. Tobogo was bad. Yeah, he also was similar like that too. Tobogo is taunting, especially you remember even the 100-meter final in was it Colombia in the World Under 20. Yeah, yeah, he's improved too. I think his temperament has improved too. You know, when you do it as a junior, sometimes you can understand, and then you can't. How you manage that as a senior athlete is something different. The kid says not many of the competitors like Noah, but until they beat him, there's really nothing they can say. Robert Kenny just came back from injury, he did well. I think we should put that into context, and if we put that in real perspective, that I think Kenny walks away from his championship feeling really good because he missed out from some meets there because he picked up something, and even after the 100 meters, he kind of said he wasn't quite sure where he is and how his body felt, but he's doing much better. So if you say you have a few weeks to prepare, then you go into the championships feeling much better. I think he walks out of here feeling good too. I don't think he liked what happened there, and I probably don't believe he thought he would have lost either, but it did happen. So you got to go to Tokyo and try to exact revenge there. That's where it counts. Christina says Noah's mindset helped to push him. Objectivity is responding to Jared, says he'll have 3 rounds of the 100 in his legs, and we don't know if Tokyo will be as fast as usually. The track in Tokyo is quick. It's the same track from the Olympics. It's pretty quick. That was Mondo's track before they laid the one in Paris, but that by quick, it's basically the top of the line stuff you're getting there. Like the difference is really very small. It's just it's the energy return and the propulsion stuff that can happen when you're on these tracks. And yeah, I did a video on that last year. I guess most of you saw it anyway. So he won't. I see he flopped, especially when he doubles. Yeah. No one. You can't. I, 19.2 is way out there. I think we don't. Sometimes we don't fully grasp how fast that is, and to do that after rounds is not easy. So that's why that stuff that Usain rocked up and did in Berlin is madness. It's like alien stuff, right? Because then they had more rounds, right? So yeah, Noah could run fast on a one-off race, but if you start to put rounds at 100, then rounds at a two, it's I can't see 19.2. He hasn't gone faster than 19.5 when he does the double. So it takes a lot out of your body by then. Yeah. He slowed down to look at Courtney and Lindsay last year. That's what Jared is saying. Brian says 1954. He's running at world stop. Okay, yeah, I think he can run. I think 19.5 is possible, but below that might be. We're asking a lot there. The 5,000 real in progress, and I have no idea what's going on because I'm just running through comments right now. Eric says we will see when everyone has to run the same number of races. Nevada 19.2. What you smoking? I need to really check that before I put you on screen. Asira says, I still believe that Kenny is going to win the finals in Tokyo. It's possible. We'll see. Yeah. Brian says, Mark my 19.5 coach. I think you're right. I don't think he's gonna run faster than 19.5 in Tokyo, but we'll see. Eric says no, Eliza's still at 10. Mm, He probably is quicker than that. He's just not. He just hasn't executed the race. Virginia says, remember when Knighton wanted to knock out Noah too? Noah doesn't. Noah don't. Well, yeah, I guess he doesn't have the 100-meter speed right now. He's slow off the bat. Yeah, he's still not. He's not. He's the first phase of the race needs a lot of work, but I think they know that. Yeah. Oh, that's what they call Kenny. I didn't know this. Thanks. Noah talks the talk, but he walks the walk. Put up or shut up, Kimani says. And Brian says that's the time he'll run. Anika, shot put on fire. I need to go back to the shot put in a second here. It's on my next screen, but I'm not even following. Oh, Trip Pipper in the lead now at 22:29. A big PB for him there. Let's get that on the screen. Pipper there, 22:29. Joe Kovacs still with that 22:07. Peyton Otherdal, 21:74. Roger Steen just where's Roger Steen? No, yeah, he hasn't. Yeah, Steen is in 21:39. So there's what one round. They're in the round 6 right now, right? Yeah. Dina Lee says, I'm gonna watch those interviews just for the spice and messiness. Robert is saying Noah also came back from injury. Objectivity, you're on the joking side. He walks the walk only when he wins. When he doesn't, he's sick with COVID. Virginia, they're all injured. Ferdinand says no, not a team player. His head is too high in the clouds. I guess you're saying South Africa, Jamaica, and Canada will beat US in the relays. That Jamaica 4x1 team, if they get it right, they could do something special. South Africa, I think, is really good. I don't know what the Canadians would rock up with. They always come good to our championships, but the grass isn't at the same level anymore. But we'll see. Virginia says Kenny tired of y'all calling him Silver Kenny. Dina says, I heard someone said Noah lives rent free in Kenny's head. And now I believe that person. Mr. Ruspit says Kenny knows Noah can't fight. Eric says Lyle's fresh leg strategy will be even across the board in world championships. Yeah, because they're all gonna run the same. Dina, I love the beef between the two of them. That relay will not go well, especially if one exchanging to another. Yeah, yeah. But most Americans and some Jamaicans have PBs in Eugene. I guess that's in response to someone there. Kimani says Kenny was never injured. Stop making excuses for him. He felt a tightness at pre and didn't want to risk injury. I thought he felt something from Philly. Maybe I'm wrong on that. Ferdinand was pointing out Trip Prepper leading with 22:29. That's a big throw. It is a PB. The original BI Strong said, right, 2008 and 9 had 4 rounds. Yeah, it did. So that is even more ridiculous. The kid, they already beat Lyles. I guess Eric is responding to the kid. Rachel can't wait until Worlds. Objectivity says Natasha Morrison, who's traditionally an 11 sprinter, has a 1085 PB in Eugene. No, Eugene is a special place to rock up on. on times, on a lot of things. Sometimes what they call it, the Haywood Field magic too, beyond just say conditions for wind. But usually, a lot of times, people come to when you see the big performances there too. Championships are happening, whether it's national or collegiate or something of the sort. Jared, who you predict will 200s at Worlds? I don't know right now. I mean, I want to see what Let's Sealy looks like. If we can get Let's Sealy running a race or two to better judge what kind of shape he's in, yeah, I have to see that before I can make anything. You're thinking it's a three-man race. Kimani says, track is not a team sport. Why should Noah care? If you put the work in and win, you can celebrate however you want. Eric says, Kenny is more gracious when he performs. Dennis told him not to push it. Brian says, if Noah did that, everyone would be on his case. Guy did nothing wrong. Ferdinand is saying that relay is a team effort. Why do you think Canada uh, does so well? Yeah, you have to have the chemistry on the relay, unless you have like a super, super fast team and you just do conservative exchanges, and you could probably win. Brian says Tobago gets a free pass for the same gesturing. Do your thing, Noah. Yeah, you're right, because even now Tobago will do some showboating. Sonic Marsh in the house. I know Noah was going to win. Remember, he says he's not giving up the title, but at Worlds, he will have to hold second in the 200, but 100, I don't know if he will medal. All right, let me see what's going on in this 5,000 meters. Keep those comments coming, guys. You know, I like to read all of them. We got at the bell right now at 12:30, 176 is the time. Oh my God. Shelby Houlihan is leading here. Ellison, where's Cranny? Cranny's in third, it looks like. Is there no, what happened to Cranny? Hartenstein right there too, but I think those girls are gonna come around on the end there. Julian, no, just opening up right now. Cranny is coming right behind her. Those two are gonna make it. And is that Andrews? 15:30, 15:13:61. So Cranny and Andrews also make the team. Let me see where we are in the comments. Kenny did enough to qualify. I didn't see him pressing. Man, Noah should have been in Bolt's era. I don't think he would have liked it. So guess there's some conversation there between Kimani and Ferdinand. Brian says 979 in the legs. He has a speed, no excuses. Steve Mullins, 100 PBs also at Eugene. Yeah, a lot of people have big times there. Rachel says, I like both of them, but they need to calm down. It's ghetto and embarrassing. Let's see, he played mind games last year, and he's doing the same this year. Got to take Tibogus prior to championships with a grain of salt. Interesting. I mean, he did pull out in where was it? Morocco in Rabat. Is that a big throw there? Oh, I don't know what that is. I was just trying to see what's happening there in the shot put, but anyway, I think he's injured, right? Like we saw some of that recently, so yeah. I don't. I get what you're saying, but I don't know what to make of that fully, to be honest with you. Brian says Tokyo is fast. Look what Elaine did over there. Yeah, the track is pretty quick over there. At the time, that was the latest technology Mondo had before they redesigned the track for Paris and that kind of stuff. And I don't. Yeah, it's hardly been used either, so it should be fine. It's the Olympic Stadium that they had revamped, so Kimani said, "People find all kind of excuses not to like Noah, but you have to respect him. If anyone else in this era has done what he has, be there would be a lot more praise. Why do people relish humility over so much?" Interesting point. I mean, oh, he's I think he's up there. You know, I I mean, his record stands up. The one thing that I suspect Noah will regret not doing is collecting a gold medal at the Olympics over 200 meters. But when you look at the record in the World Championships, and now he's, even the 100 meters, he's moved up there, right? World champion, Olympic champion, third fastest of all time. I don't, there's no disputing around there. Mr. Russo, why wouldn't I have liked it? You think Noah would have beaten both? Oh no, I'm saying not you wouldn't. I don't think Noah would have liked to be in that. A lot of people say they want to be in the Bolt era, but look at what a bunch of other guys had to do to compete in the Bolt era. You know, they ended up doing stuff that the sport, we don't like, right? I don't want to rehash all of that stuff, but a lot of people ended up taking stuff. Stay curious. Burrito girl for the win. you know, I was trying to I was trying to my outburst at first was interesting there, because let's just say that I'm not in yeah, I don't want to say anything right now. Yeah. Ferdinand, good 5K by women, but not good enough for worse. Yeah, they're nowhere close to that kind of stuff. Nowhere close to that stuff. You're talking about potentially world records being broken in 5,000 meters again this year. So even at Worlds. So Stay Curious says news came in Dina no longer training with. Yeah, that touched up. That on the top of the live that was discussed. Yeah, the original night. The original BI Strong says the night and approach to training. Yeah, that's an interesting thing with Arian. I don't know what's happening there. I suspect there's a level of mental stuff going on too. Oh, now I got what you're saying. I think you're responding to Stay Curious there, BI Strong. Okay, maybe I missed it. Yeah. All right, so we're getting to the 110-meter hurdles final, the last track event. Who you liking here? I just figured out what you were saying there. Uh, you guys are trying to get me in trouble here. Mr. While Toki has a fast track and Elaine did her thing there, Elaine was not running eyeball races before the champion. Yeah, I did get it. Yeah. All right. So Trey Cunningham, Cordell Tinch, Dylan Beard. What we thinking? Brian says Lyles will smoke all of them at Worlds. It's a clean start here. Beard out there, Cordell Tinch in the back. Is that Tharp running away with it? People falling left, right, and center. I think Tharp may have won that from the inside. I think Tharp won. He actually got it. He did win it. Jacoby Tharp wins this in 13.01. That's a big PB for him. Cordell Tinch second. Beard 1304. Trey Cunningham 1310. Man, the kid from Auburn racked up again here and wins. Look at that. And he was looking over too. Tinch there in the middle too, also dipping well, but I gotta see the race again because I thought Cunningham would have made this, but I mean I really ruled out Thorpe. I was like Thorpe rather. I was like, oh, he's hurdling really well too. Look at that. And he's over there like hurdling really neat. Anika says, oh dear, yeah. Cunningham not on the team. Yeah, he didn't make the team. This is why you're on the races, right? The original BI Strong, Trey out, yeah. Kimani, he's lots of laughing emojis. Anika, 19-year-old Cunningham and Britt out. Yeah. Look at that. That's it. There's no options for Trey Cunningham unless one of these guys get injured and he replaces them. He can't go through the Diamond League route because Grant Holloway is the defending champion. Mr. Roosman, I know why track and field, know my track and field very well, and all those fast times early in the season's catching up to them. I'm looking out for those who have been average all season. It's going to be interesting too. I mean, making a valid point in terms of when the championship's finishing at September, you really have to be very careful in how you manage the season. You know, when you run fast, when you take breaks in such a long season like this, because you think you gone outdoors from April, May there, and if you decide to run an indoor, you know, you have to management of the athlete is really, really important there. Anika says this is just crazy as the Jamaica trials. Yeah. Dina Lee says, I'm happy Trey's out. I wonder why. And Kimani, you have to run your own race. Dylan Braid on the team, love it. Hope he's signed before Tokyo. Yeah, isn't he still working at Walmart? I guess he does part-time hours now, right? Something like that. Even Walmart should have been sponsoring him, but whatever. Whoa, this was a championships, guys. Big championships. Some surprises. Gabby Thomas got a like a thousand of a second, because otherwise the Olympic champion would not be running the 200 meters. It's one of those things. I guess she could have gone to try and win the Diamond League final, but she'd have to get on the circuit for that. But she gets it there. It's tough out there. He is sponsored by Walmart, right? Yeah. Because I'm sure I could, but he still works there too, right? I think I saw something earlier this year that he still picks up some shifts. I could be wrong on that. Or maybe I'm mixing things up. Yeah. Hmm. It's really interesting. I got a live coming up, guys, in this week, as I mentioned before, with Leighton Levy on Thursday. That's scheduled, so be sure to check that out. Hit the notification for that. Hit the comment section of the post if you have some questions that you may want answered, and I can work them in. I mean, you can ask them on the live too when you're there, but just in case, I can think through that. Yeah, should have a lot of cool stuff coming up too. I'm working on a few things, but yeah, interesting championships. We'll recap a lot of these things in the week. Diamond League returns what, next week? Not this week, but the week after, right? Yeah. Anika says United States track and field uh, will be disappointed they didn't promote this product better because they would have fuel increased viewership. It's interesting. So the question here is, and I would have to check it again. I do believe that the decision not to run the stuff on TV is an NBC decision. And they made this choice before. When was it? It was the build up to Budapest. They didn't put stuff on TV, right? The way they used to, if I'm not mistaken. They changed it last year for the Olympic Games. And so they have the rights to a lot of stuff. So if they want to, they have to renegotiate stuff with NBC, I think. I'm not sure what the higher powers in NBC are thinking. They certainly will promote the Olympics because they pay a hefty penny for it. I'm not sure what the deal is with the United States Track and Field and NBC when the contract runs out. I'll have to check on that and how much it's actually valued. I need maybe there's a couple of sports business guys I can reach out to for that. But something has to be done there. I would say from a promotion standpoint, I think USATF has to think around what they do with the stream too, because maybe if they were to just do it for free or more days for free or some kind of incentive, they could attract a lot more people. And from a marketing perspective, in terms of getting people inside of the stadium, there's nobody there. It's shocking. And Haywood Field is not a large stadium, but we talked about it too. It's expensive to get out to Eugene. It's a small place and it's not a lot of accommodations there. So you have to spend a lot of money to get out there. It's not cheap. And even though Eugene is like a track savvy area, there's a lot of other things that people can spend time on for entertainment, and sometimes they're just not spending the money to. So you can't really, you have to do better, right? There's no one in the stands. It looked really bad, and you have to improve upon this, for sure. Otherwise, people not seeing the good stuff. And we're biased here in a sense that, not biased, but I think we love the sport. We know how important it is, what the athleticism, track and field is in every sport in the world, in the sense that you can see elements of the individual events there that works well in other places, and it's the kind of pure stuff. And But the reality is that it's the key stakeholders of the sport that it's their responsibility to ensure that people come and watch it, right? The athletes play a role, but they can only do so much. The athletes have to work on themselves too in terms of being more transparent, open, that kind of stuff. But the organization of sport has to change in terms of what you do to market it. And you can have the best cake in the world, but if you operate behind a shack and no one knows that the shack exists, then no one is eating your cake, right? So you have to do better there. So there's and this comes from World Athletics, and I said the biggest disappointment of Sepko's era, because he did a lot of interesting stuff that I could like. I think the part that he personally would have to admit is that they failed to get the sport in front of the eyes of a lot more people, and the sport has failed tremendously to carve off a large segment of people who turn up every 4 years and watch the Olympics. They have not turned those people into real fans. And until you can do that, then you will continue to get stuff like this. Let me get back to some more comments here. Lyle Kenny, she said, was Lyle and Kenny about to exchange blows at the end of that race? What's your thoughts? Lyle backed up and double his fist. I mean, it looked like they were gonna fight, but I don't know if it would have happened. I'm happy that it didn't go much more physical than just that push. Shouldn't have even happened that way. But it's one of those things. Adrenaline pumping there in the heat. he- You know, it's likely to happen. Virginia says, back in the days, there used to be so much track meets on NBC. There used to be, and then after a while, they shift to their Peacock stuff. NBC also treated the Diamond League like a stepchild. So they buy the product on Peacock and you can only watch one stream. They didn't have so even FlowTrack here, you have to get a subscription with FlowTrack for Diamond League, but they offer you everything you could get, right? You could get the dedicated streams on everything, right? The field events, so on. I don't think the executives at NBC care that much about track and field. No one is beating down the doors to buy the package. It's like they're begging for it sometimes. So yeah, I think the only thing they managed to save this year was Prefontaine. So that's the only Diamond League that Flow Track couldn't cover this year because NBC they value Pre because Pre is like a big event and the history behind that. I guess yeah. Mr. Roosmith said, this is not the first time USA track and field did this. I've been following track and field ever since the 90s. Don't overthink it. USA economy is not doing well. Yeah, it is, but actually, I guess, I don't want to rehash this tonight because I've talked about this a lot. There's all sort of things popping up in different parts of the country too. Some new form of baseball. There's these like a small leagues happening, volleyball, all types of new ventures popping up, and some people are showing up. I think track and field is a legacy sport, but it's a legacy sport only through the context of the Olympics, right? We're not. I don't think any reasonable person is asking it to challenge the big sports in the United States. It can. The hegemonic sports are football, baseball, basketball. I mean, in context, it's like NFL, then college sports as an entity, mostly around football and basketball, and then the rest, right? And you can't touch those media markets. But sometimes your cycles are out of that, so you can get things going. But we'll see. Sherwood says he'll be here for Thursday. Objective, we got to run. That was fun. Until next time. Yeah, cool. Guys, it's been my pleasure. We've been hanging out every day of this championship. We'll come live again. I'm going to push some more videos. As I said, I have that live scheduled with Leighton Levy on Thursday night. Hopefully, you guys are there. And don't forget to like the videos and subscribe. Hit the notification bell. That's the easiest way to know when we put out new videos or when we're coming live or doing anything on the channel. I'll see you. Thanks so much and take care.